up, everybody? Well, I got another video for you guys today, and today we're going to do an unboxing and a look around and a comparison, at least in mic quality. I can't really compare speakers quality. I can tell you what they sound like, but I don't have an apparatus where I can set them on like a dummy's head and have you hear what they sound like or anything. But we'll do that, and I'd say that's probably about good. So that's pretty much the whole video. We're gonna unbox it, take a look at it, and then compare the microphones to some other headphones I have lying around. And that's really all I can do, and give you my opinions on whether I think it's worth the $600. Although to 99% of people, I don't think too many people would rather have space $600 for this when they could go get 95, probably more like 97% of the same quality from like a $300-400 set of gaming headset. Or better yet, go get yourself straight up audiophile grade headphones and just get your own mic and put it on, combine the two together, and then just have a good time. But this is for noobs like me who don't want to do all of that. Supposedly. We'll see if it actually works. So I guess let's get started and let's start unboxing. Well, let's start this unboxing. It looks like it simply just has some little pull tabs on the sides that you pull, and then it should just come right off. Well, if I can actually pull them, here we go, there's one. Now if I can come over here without bashing into the camera or anything, here we go, grab that one, there we are. And I think, oh wait, nope, it looks like we have them on the bottom too. I'm glad I noticed that. Otherwise I would have been like, oh my God, why won't it open? What the fuck? And it's like, well, it's not gonna open if you've still got stickers on it. No, mister, you cannot come eat that. Her ears perked right up. She thought that was like tape to bite on an open package. She loves to bite the tape from packages. Anyway, I'm assuming it slides, so let's slide that on out of there. And so far, I like the presentation. The box even has like a really nice handle. I mean, I don't know how many people are actually gonna put their stuff back in the box and carry it around like that, but hey, it's the thought that counts, all right? Oh, little magnet. Yep, it's got some magnets holding the little box down, and then that's what you get. That's what you're presented with. I think that's a pretty damn nice presentation. So we got, obviously, that. What do we got in here? This is probably like, yep, you've got the little base station. What do we got here? Probably all the documentation and cords and stuff, I would imagine. Nothing on that side. We'll open that little doohickey in a second. First, we've got a gigantically thick guide, but it's probably because it has every language known to man in it or something like that would be my guess. What else do we got in here? Oh, no, I think this is the cords. I can see them. So I don't know what's in that. Other one might just be documentation. Nothing fancy other than that on it. And then you've got your base station right here. So that's pretty nice. What do we got? Line in, line out, USB 1, 2, and USB 3 for Xbox. All right, let's see. We'll put that away from where I can accidentally knock it off. And then we really just have our headphones left. Wow, these feel really light. Metal, nice feeling. Well, it feels like leather, but it's probably fake. Yeah, very nice. They look very similar to my other SteelSeries headphones. So now that we've had a quick look at those, why don't we get this big old box out of the way and have a look at everything else that comes in the box. So now for the rest of the accessories in there. So first, let's do this. So you get a carrying case. So I can tell half of the people that reviewed this never actually received it because they all complained about not getting a carrying case. Well, this is a carrying case right here. It's right in that box. So if you actually bought one of these, you would know that. So I think half the people were just bitching about price and saying, it's stupid, it sucks, it doesn't even come with it. You know, that kind of shit. All right, you got yourself a 3.5mm jack. Feels like one of the really flexy bendable ones. Then we have a USB-A to USB-C. That's probably for hooking it up to your PC. What else do we got in here? We have another USB-A to USB-C. And then, wouldn't you know it, another USB-A to USB-C. So they give you every freaking cord you could possibly need in here. What else do we got? Oh, there's still a little more. Oh, anything else? Nope, I think that's finally it for that guy. So you get a little windbreaker for your microphone if you so choose. I will probably not put that on because if you do that, then you won't be able to put it all the way back into the headphones. But if you're going to use it for actual, you know, podcasting or something like that, so your P's and stuff don't pop as much, you can plop that on. You even get yourself a little extra battery because this thing is all about being able to be like, oh man, I want to keep playing. Take the one battery out, plop the new battery in, keep going, you know? So it's kind of cool. Main reason I got it too, because my current Corsair Virtuoso's batteries are so cooked from me not really using it that it pretty much lasts like an hour and some change maybe. So now if that ever happens again, we can just probably hit up SteelSeries and be like, hey, can you send me out one of those batteries? That would be great. So there we go. And I guess we can also take a closer look at this too. I mean, we already kind of look pretty close, but we can like, there we go, get you guys super in there. So this is like a metal turning knob. Feels very, very nice, though it does wobble a little bit. And then you've got a capacitive touch button, so that's how you select. At least that's what I get from reading that real quick. Nothing on the side. Now on this side, that's where you put your battery in to charge. So that spare battery I showed you guys, you'd plop that in there and it would be all charged, you're ready to go. And then again, you've got your line in, you got your line out, USB 1, USB 2, and Xbox, and USB 3, which also says Xbox for whatever reason. I'm sure the instructions would tell you why that is. And yeah, that's pretty much that. So why don't we go get this thing all hooked up to the computer it's gonna be on and go have a look at its software, because I know it's gonna have some software for us. Well, I actually noticed this as I was setting up to go start doing my Steam Deck gameplay videos and whatnot, I never got any close-up shots of these things. I mean, I held them up like this and was like, oh man, cool, look at that for like a quarter of a second. And then we looked at the rest of the shit in the box. People are gonna wanna see the star of the show, so I figured we'd come and take a better look around. So let me get this to focus in for you guys. There you go. So there's your button for Bluetooth. There's our logo, and this is also where you can get to the battery to replace it. The other one has your USB, and they're just held together by magnet. And if you don't put this one back on just right, it like floats around. All right, I think we got it good. Yeah, see, if you put it on and try to like have it match what the other one looked like, it like moves around. Very weird. I don't like that, but whatever. As long as you have it perfect, it works. You just have to get it on there perfect or they will move around on you. Here's a close-up shot of the earphones. They feel like leather, but I think they're pleather. Almost nobody uses animals anymore. Now this is aluminum or some kind of metal. You've also got your power button right there. You also have your mute button and your volume right there. Kind of hard to see because it's black, unfortunately. And then yeah, then you've got your one microphone right there, which you can leave like that, or you can also extend it out. I know you probably can't see because it's all in focus. I forgot. This thing doesn't autofocus right now. I have it set up for my gameplay videos and autofocus goes bananas. So I turned it off. I should have just turned it back on for these videos, but it is what it is. It also has a little light, indicator light for when it's on, when the headphones are actually on. Then since they do have some noise cancellation, they do have a head or a microphone up there, and they also have a microphone right there. And besides that, then you've got your headband, which is adjustable. That's what these little nubs are here. I was wondering what those were in the videos until I actually got my hands on them. But all right, I'd say that's a much better or actually wait, nope, there's also a 3.5mm headphone jack right there. Don't want to forget about that. And I think besides that, we've looked over everything there is to look over on the thing now. Oh, and then of course the thing adjusts right here. And it's very, very nice moving. It feels very, 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 very nice. But I think with that, we can go move on to the next part of the video. Well, all right, we got it in its new little home. Now, the only problem is, no matter where I put it on my desk, I'll pretty much have to like turn it around to get to the battery. But other than that, that's not a huge deal. I doubt I'm even gonna use that feature that off, but that's kind of annoying. Even if I were to put it over here, it would be pointed at my computer desk. I'd have to have it like in the middle of my desk, and I don't want that. And we got the headphones all updated. When you launch this program, which we will obviously change to screen recording to check out, I'm not gonna point a camera at a screen to check it out. That would be pretty lame, but that's the program you need. It'll ask you to update your firmware, which I like to go and make sure that the firmware isn't gonna mess anything up usually, but this time I kind of just went and went with it. So hopefully that didn't screw anything up. And then I turned off side tone because I absolutely cannot stand to hear myself right in my ears. I don't even like listening to myself when I do my recordings and stuff and edit, let alone hearing it right in my ears. But anyway, let us now have a look at this app. Well, all right, let's have a quick look around the software here. Now, this isn't technically necessary. You could just plug it in and use it the way it is, but I figured might as well use it because from the videos I heard, the mic sounded better with all this. But anyway, don't have Prism lighting installed, but if you want that, you can enable it right there. You got your Sonar audio, which seems to be very important for the microphone to perform properly. Then you got your engine tab here, so all your products would probably be there. I only have one, so there's just one. You got some apps you can get. I do not have quick set enabled or any of that. You've also got your sonar, which again is very important, although it doesn't seem like it's completely configured. I'll have to fiddle around with it a little bit more. But shouldn't be hard. Then you got your moments, which seems like it's now before we go there, let's check this out. Game. You got your spectral audio, which I don't use, but some people like it. You got an equalizer. I'm just going to leave it flat for all the tests because that's what all the rest of the things will be set at too. Then you got your chat tab here. Now this is the part that's important, apparently. Clearcast AI noise cancellation. If you turn that on, then you get much better quality from the microphone, supposedly. At least from my ears. Compared to listening to the people who didn't install this app at all and just did it raw. Now this is like a shadow play thing. I do not need this, so I'm not going to enable it, but if you just want one app that does it all, this one seems like it kind of tries to handle it. You also can try out this aiming thing, so you can get your aiming down. You don't have to go on and use some separate like website or anything if you don't want to. You can just use that. Then you got your giveaways, so nothing too important that I would care about, but hey, some people are into that. And then you got your news about all their different products. So basically they're bragging, hey, please buy me page. Now if we go hop on over into the settings, We got our general, sonar, auto run, beta opt, all different languages. Pretty decent amount of languages there. You can link accounts here. I just have YouTube, but I haven't done that yet. Probably won't. I have my awesome username I just haven't changed yet. Practical preference 85. Hell yeah. You can use data to personalize. Nothing I really care about for privacy. Notifications. If you don't want it bothering you, you can just turn that off and it'll never bother you with anything. Then you got your overlays and notifications. Nothing too much to that tab, but there it is. You can have a quick look at it. Here's your presets. Then under that, we have our shortcuts. So you can add a bunch of keys to do shortcuts, exactly as the name implies. You can got cloud sync, so you can have all your computers just sync that shit together. If you've got a bunch of SteelSeries stuff, you can have them all sync up. Overlays, pretty self-explanatory. Your capture and sound, this is more settings for that capturing thing that's like shadow play for this program. Again, more overlays and notifications for that particular thing for moments. The other one was engine overlays and notifications. Each thing has its own stuff. Here's your clip settings. You can make it high, how long, its resolution. Like I said, that thing is basically shadow play. Then you can even do game detection. You can do auto clipping if you want. It's got a bunch of games there. More shortcuts for the moments. Like I said, everything seems to have its own individual overlays and shortcuts, which is nice. Then you got even more shortcuts for sonar and overlays for sonar. There's a couple more things there, but nothing too crazy. And then if we go into here, you got a few more options. If you actually click on your device. Obviously, it depends on what device you have, but different things will pop up. Look at that. You got all these different games you can have equalizer presets for. Now, you might not think they're the greatest, but hey, for noobs like me, I might just pop in there and see what it sounds like. Instead of sitting there fiddling with it myself, you got Bluetooth and 2.4 gigahertz control up there. You got your output and noise control. You got your live preview on down there at the very bottom. Then you've also got microphone settings. Again, you can have it be flat, which is how I'm going to test everything out because that's the way everything else is. Just be fair. And you've even got a bunch of presets for that too to help out noobs like me. Then you got your mic volume. Then you got your side tone, which I turned off immediately because I can't stand hearing myself in my own ears that close. It's almost like my in-brain thoughts are also being put into my ears, which is just way too much sensory overload. And then you've also got OLED screen brightness here for your other settings, power options for how it powers down, all sorts of stuff in here. You can do screensaver options, which I wouldn't have that up too high. OLEDs love to burn in. Then you got Bluetooth calling, so if you want, you can hook it up to your phone and have a phone call come in during your game and not even have to pause your game. Pretty nice. But I think that's pretty much that. There's not too much else to go over. There was a couple more settings in the settings tab to look over, but they were pretty much just nonsensical stuff that no one would care about. So I think with that, we can go ahead and move on over to the mic tests.
So this is just going to be a quick test with the microphone rolled up inside the headphones, so it's not like sticking out, because this thing does actually use two different microphones apparently. So I wanted to see what the difference was between the two. And of course, we'll test it out versus the other two headphones I have lying around too, just for fun, because a lot of people say this thing's mic does not sound very good. And it really didn't from most people's videos, but as long as you install all the audio stuff from the SteelSeries app, like the noise cancellation and the AI stuff, supposedly it's supposed to sound okay. Still not $600 okay, but okay. So hopefully that's more than good enough. Let's go see what it's like when it's extended now.
Well, now this is with the microphone extended. And it definitely seems like it does not go as loud. I don't know about quality-wise, but it's definitely, at least with the out-of-the-box settings, not anywhere near as loud as the other one. But I imagine since they know the other one is all the way in your ear cup, they probably up the gain on it or something like that would be my guess. Or maybe I set it up that way or something by accident. But all I remember doing was turning off side tone and turning on AI noise cancellation, because everybody said this mic sounds absolutely abhorrently horrible if you don't use all of the little AI features that come with it. Who knows, maybe with all that it still sounds like crap compared to the rest of the mics we're going to test.
But hey, I'd say that's probably about the same amount of time as I did on the mic when it was retracted. So now let's go see what the rest of the systems can do, shall we? Well, all right. Now we're going to test out the microphone on this old school Corsair Virtuoso XTs that I used to use before I got these Arctic Noctis Elites, I believe they're called. To be perfectly honest, I can't even remember what the other pros I used to use were called. I think they were called SteelSeries Arctis Pro, and then these are the Elites. And I had the ones that were hooked up to that little hi-fi DAC thing. So mine weren't wireless or anything like these ones were, or the new ones I got. So, if I remember correctly, this microphone sounded pretty decent. Way more, the microphone on this was way better than the actual sound quality on the speakers and stuff. I never really got the sound working all that well on these. My SteelSeries Pros definitely were better in the sound quality. I don't remember which one was better in the microphone department, though, but I guess we'll find out. I think that's more than enough blabbery, though. Let's go test that one out now. Well, all right. Now let's do a quick test of the SteelSeries Noctis Pros. And these are the ones that are hooked up to that game DAC. Just because I figured, hey, that's still probably better than a lot of motherboards' audios, but who knows? Maybe my onboard motherboard audio would have been better. You never know. I'm not a big audiophile anyway. I probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. But still, figured I'd see what this sounded like, seeing as though that thing basically is the new version of this after all. Although maybe there was a version in between. It has been quite a while since I've had these. But in any case, I'd say that's probably good. I figured, why don't we test one more thing? We'll test the thing I actually use to record the audio for my voiceovers and my YouTube videos. The Razer Seiren V3 or something like that. Well, alright. I figured I would go ahead and finish this mic test up with my Razer Seiren V2. This is what I use to do the voiceovers for all my YouTube stuff. Obviously, it's nowhere near as good as some of the other mics out there, but at the same time, I like how this one makes it so it cuts off everything else that's going on. I can have my TV on, all sorts of stuff, and no one will hear none of that. All they hear is my voice, so I'll take it. I'd say it's probably one of the best sounding USB microphones I've heard so far. The only way I've heard way better audio is when you change to that weird looking thing that the professional newscasters use, where it has some giant looking port thing, and then you need extra stuff. And I was like, nope, I don't know how to use any of that, so I'm just going to grab me this. I'm an absolute noob when it comes to audio, so this is absolutely noob friendly. Might be overpriced, but I'll go for it. Anyway, that's probably more than good. I'd say that probably wraps up the mic test and gives us a pretty good idea of where they all sit. Well, alright guys, that is a wrap for this video. And so far, they seem pretty awesome. I don't know if they're worth no $600 by any means, because they sound a little bit better than the SteelSeries Noctis Pros that I have over there with that game DAC. But those are also wired. These are wireless, and they still sound a bit better. Not like, oh my god, night and day better or anything like that. But both sound night and day better than the Corsair Virtuosos. Those things never had great audio quality. I sat there for a while and made it okay, but those were like, I think $340 headphones too, so again, not really worth it for the price. I'd say the SteelSeries, I think those were like $300 with the game DAC and everything. I'd say that was probably the best, well-rounded, had decent audio, decent microphone. The only thing that sucked is being connected to a wire, which I chose. I could have gotten the wireless versions of those, but I wanted that game DAC and the high-res audio and all that shit. But I'd say that's probably good. I don't think they're probably worth $600, but for all the things it offers, if you've got an extra $600 and $600 ain't shit to you, give them a try. Worst thing that happens is if you don't like them, send them on back and get something else. I've heard a lot of people say these Maxwells were really good, so maybe look into those, although I heard they're really, really heavy. But in any case, that is all for this video though, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And until the next video, peace out, guys.